So good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is April the 21st. Stop wriggling. And as you can see, we have company today. We have lots of lovely company today. Reese, do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
And before we begin our show, first of all, I'd like to say hello to Gregel, who is between us, as we know. And we'd also like to say hello to Chris, wouldn't we? So good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Rosemary. Good morning, Reese.
Good morning.
And how are you today, Chris?
Fine and dandy. Spring is coming.
Is it cold there?
It's much colder than Florida. We might make it into the mid-50s today.
Oh, wow. Ooh, that's cold. So, Reese, do you want to tell everyone what you've been doing today, this morning already?
Playing with Apache.
Playing with Apache. Yeah. And?
Swimming.
Chris.
You are so lucky.
He's been outside in the pool, swimming in the sunshine.
Not for very long.
Well, not for very long, but we're going to go later, aren't we? We're going to swim later on. So tell everybody out there, because people who are listening know that I'm a cook, right? That I like to cook. So what delicious food have I been cooking for you for your lunches while you've been here?
Ham and cheese.
Ham and cheese what?
Sandwich.
And how? Just a regular sandwich?
With butter?
With, well, and?
Dog treat?
Yes, well, yesterday we were making dog treats, weren't we?
And chips?
We made chips. Did we?
No.
Okay, so, but it isn't just an ordinary cheese sandwich, or it isn't an ordinary ham and cheese sandwich, is it? Because don't we put it in the frying pan? And don't we grill it? Don't we heat it up and crisp it on the outside? And people might like to know how we do that. We shall see. If anybody's watching and you like to know how I make my what?
Grilled ham and cheese.
Grilled ham and cheese, or croque monsieur, which is called, the French call it croque monsieur. I will tell you in 5 minutes how to make it, and then after the show you can go and make it for yourselves. Right. So, Chris, do we have it? Excuse me. Do we have anybody watching this morning?
We do, and we have some very exciting news from Natasha. Natasha says, "Hi, Rosemary. I hope you are okay. I asked you a few months ago if you thought I would get another baby because I had a strong feeling that I would. I wanted to tell you that I'm almost 20 weeks pregnant, and I still think it's a girl, but I'll know next week."
Yay! Yay! That's very exciting. Is she saying that I predicted that? Is that what she's saying?
Yes, a couple of months ago you let her know that she could have a baby if she wanted one.
Oh, how about that? And now she is, right? So that is exciting news. Keep us posted. We want to know, boy or girl. Okay, Chris, keep going.
Suvarna is from the western part of India.
Oh.
They're asking if you know if their mother and grandmother are at peace.
Well, actually, normally this is not a show where we do that, although we do sometimes, don't we, Chris? But as I'm listening to Chris and as I'm paying attention to the question, I do have Grey Eagle's hand on my shoulder, and I'm told to tell you the transition was perfect, happy, not only at peace, but joyful. That's the word from Grey Eagle. And as we all know, we do pay attention to what he has to say because he's so good. All right, keep going, Chris.
Most everybody else is on here saying hellos from England, from California, from Georgia. They're all saying really nice things about Reese and how sweet he is.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Well, he should be sweet. The amount of chocolate he's been eating this week. So the
Mary's asking, this is Mary saying, today my deceased brother's only daughter is getting married. Any messages from him to her today, especially?
Can you remind me in a little while, and I will ask, or I'm sure they're already chatting about it. So Mary will let you know in a little while. Anything else, Chris? Before we talk chocolate.
Fran saying bonjour from France.
Bonjour to you too. Who is this?
Fran.
Fran. Oh, Fran might know exactly how to make a croque monsieur. Mind you, just because you're French doesn't mean you know how to cook necessarily, right? So we shall give you our recipe for croque monsieur, if you'd like it, in a few minutes. Right, Reese? We'll show you how to do it. I will tell you how to do it. It takes all of, what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes max? Right. Do you want to tell them what we did yesterday? My little chef here, my little, what are you? Are you my sous chef, or are you? No, no. What were you doing yesterday in the kitchen?
Baking doggy treats.
Baking doggy treats.
I hope you took pictures.
Oh no, we didn't. But we could lay them all out and take pictures, couldn't we? So we made a dough, didn't we? Can you remember what we used? Egg. Flour. Wholemeal flour. Cheese.
Diced
Oh, no
bacon.
kidding.
Diced, chopped finely bacon. There was one more thing. Stock. A little bit of chicken stock and some water. And we mixed it all up together.
And then put them into molds.
And then we took pieces of dough and we rolled it. And then what did you do?
We put them into molds.
Yeah, we had some tiny little bone molds. And we also have some tiny little paw print molds too, don't we? So I took the pieces off and Reese put every single one in a mold. And how many? Can you remember how many we made?
46,
46.
then maybe 10 or
Then we made some
15.
little small ones, didn't we?
So maybe around 60.
Maybe around 60.
Wow.
Pretty
50
good
to
dog
60.
treats, right? So we made those yesterday, and Mama ate some, right?
And I ate one and did not like it.
Why didn't you like it?
It was not good taste.
It was too dry, wasn't it? Reese? It was too dry, I think. Anyway, that's what we were doing yesterday. So, but you know who does like them? Who
I'm
likes
hoping
them?
Apache.
Yeah. Do you want to pick him up and let him say hi to everybody?
He's sleepy.
Well, that's okay. He's asleep, but you might want to see him.
It's okay.
He's a beautiful little bundle of fur.
Aw,
There
look
he
at
is.
him. Do
There.
you just love him, Reese?
Yeah.
What's the best part about him?
Snuggling.
Snuggling?
Absolutely.
Snuggling's the very best part. Yes.
I'm just happy.
And then playing, of course, and we're training him. Reese is training him, aren't you? What have you trained him to do so far?
Sit, stay, shake a paw, and down.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's very good. You should see him shake a paw. He's very good. Watch your feet on that cable. Yeah, so there's Apache. So we have Reese and Apache. So chocolate. Well, most of you know that last Sunday was Easter Sunday. And well, an amazing thing happened here, because for some amazing reason, the Easter Bunny knew exactly where to find you, didn't he? So what did we do? What did the Easter Bunny do for you?
Egg hunt.
We had an Easter egg hunt, didn't we?
Mhm.
So
I've heard that Easter Bunny can be kind of tricky.
Oh gosh, you might know. Absolutely.
He's also a poet.
He's also a poet. Yes.
Wow.
Go outside.
Good. Hurrah, hurrah, Easter has come.
Hurrah, hurrah. Easter has come.
There are treats waiting out by the sun.
There are treats.
Waiting.
No, there are some treats waiting by the pool outside in the sun. That was one of them. Yeah, we had little notes to show us what.
Or is it not?
Is it an oven or is it not? Go take a look. I hope it's not hot.
So he gave you riddles.
Yeah, if he gave us riddles, so that every time we found something, there was another riddle to find as well, wasn't there? Yeah. So
That must have been so much fun.
it was, because we had to hunt all over the place, and we found chocolate under a pillow. We found chocolates in the microwave. We found, where else did we find? Oh, under the sink. Where else did we find? Behind the curtain.
In the drawer back there.
In the drawer.
In that.
That was a very, very strange.
That was the last.
That was the last one. It was very strange. In a very deep drawer.
With a bend.
In a very deep drawer, a drawer with a bend. You'll find the last treat, and that is the end. Something like that, wasn't it? And that drawer has a bend because it's a curved drawer like that. And we could not figure out what he meant, could we? We looked and we looked and we looked, and then finally Reese said, "Ha ha! That's the drawer." So
Reese outsmarted the Easter Bunny because he found things.
Yeah, he did find them, but sometimes it took us a little while, didn't it? So yeah, yes, but it was a long Easter hunt, and also the Easter Bunny
bought things for Apache.
Bought things for Apache as well. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then the most fun of all, of course, was eating the chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So now he has a pancake for his breakfast every morning, and after the pancake, he'll often have 2 pancakes, but now after the pancake, what do you have now? A little bit of Easter chocolate, because it's Easter week still in our house. I don't know about you, Chris.
Well, that's almost like having chocolate chip pancakes.
No, he does have chocolate chip. Don't you? Every morning, that's his favourite breakfast. Every morning he has chocolate chip pancakes that his mummy makes for him. So, all right. So, but you know the one thing that the Easter Bunny did not do this year, which he did do last year, what was it? Where was my chocolate Easter egg? Nowhere to be seen, because the Easter Bunny didn't bring me a chocolate Easter egg. Although I did say to him, I don't want any chocolate because I'm getting fatter and fatter and fatter. So I didn't want to eat any chocolate. But the problem is I'm now helping Reese to eat his, aren't I? So, all right, Chris, did you have a nice Easter?
It was wonderful to travel.
Is that it?
Well, the show's not about me, Rosemary. There's a lot of people in the chat room.
About all of us. How about all of you listening? Tell us one little tiny 2-second little anecdote about how your Easter was. Many of you, of course, don't celebrate Easter, but let's look at the weekend. Let's hear what an amazing little tidbit of information. I want to see how many of you can absolutely be positive, even when you're not having a good time, perhaps. But I want you to see how you can be positive even in the most dire of circumstances. We can find a smile somewhere. All right, Chris. So let's go back to what do our lovely, lovely people have to say to us.
Cheryl thinks Reese needs his own show.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, hold on. What would your show be about?
Patty.
Apache. And Reese does have some things on YouTube, don't you?
One video.
He has a video. Don't say just one. You're going to do more, aren't you? He has a video
Of when I first got.
on YouTube of when he first got Apache. But what do people have to look at if they want to see you on video? Well, what's the name of it? If you go into YouTube, what are you looking for? Are you looking for Reese Astor? Or are you looking for
Reese and Apache's Adventures, I think.
Reese? That's spelt
RHYS.
RHYS. Reese and Apache. Z with an S on the end. Reese and Apache's Adventures. So if you go to YouTube and you write that in, I don't think I've seen it. I think I have to go in there as well in a little bit and see if I can find you too. So you see, he has sort of started a show, right? Okay, next, Chris.
Let's see. Rhonda says there's nothing better than Easter chocolate. Spent with all of my family at my brother's house. So much fun.
Oh, nice. Thanks for sharing that, Rhonda. Good job. Keep
Maggie,
them
Maggie says my parents did that for our Easter hunts that I carried on for my girls and now grandson. I'm amazed that the Easter Bunny can rhyme so well on so many clues.
Did you not know that? Oh, well, he always does in our house, doesn't he? Yeah. Yeah, because he probably doesn't do it everywhere, but probably because he knows that we're writers, because Reese is a writer as well, aren't you? You've written quite a few books, haven't you? Hello. Yeah, but you've written quite a few books. He hasn't had one published yet, but I think he might end up having them published because he's a very, very great writer. You tell lots of good stories, don't you? Yeah.
Plus, you play piano. What can't you do, Reese?
Oh, there are lots of things he can't do. Can you think of one thing he can't do? He can't cook a roast dinner right now, right? No. What else can't you do? You can't knit sweaters. No.
I can't jump off 1,000 feet.
He can't jump off 1,000 feet. But why are we thinking about what he can't do? Why aren't we thinking about what you can do?
How did this even start?
How did Chris started it? That's who started it. What can you do? He can swim. He can swim underwater. He's a great swimmer, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And then what else?
Dog train.
He's getting to be a really great dog trainer. He takes care of Apaches, totally responsible. Mm-hmm. You feed him every day, don't you? 3 times a day. He feeds him. And you take him out to pee and poop. Mm-hmm. So he's got a lot of good things that he can do. Let's hear from other people, Chris.
Well, Rhonda's saying that all sounds like a lot of fun. Let's see. I'm scrolling through for the Easter things. Cheryl says our Easter was the first in our new condo. I just chilled, cooked a roast beef, and enjoyed the day.
Oh, sounds good to me. I hope you cooked a roast beef the English way. Dare I say that? Dare I say that, Chris? Would that make me biased? Keep going.
Fran says, Dear Rosemary, it's a great moment for me to see you. All your words help me to feel better, even if the situation is complicated. Thank you just for being here and listening. Sorry for my phrases. I don't speak English well. My father died last year, and it's so hard to live my life. Lots of tears and no way to say goodbye, but I pray each day.
Well, my darling, my daddy died a long time ago. That was your silly grandpa, your silly great grandpa. Actually, your mama's silly grandpa, your silly great grandpa. And I learned, I remember being, as you are, I learned, how devastating it is when you lose someone very close to you like that. It is very devastating. It's a very hard thing to deal with. But I've learned that there's no need to say goodbye because I know your daddy is still with you. I know he's by your side, just as I know that my daddy is with me too. And you know your silly grandpa's with you, don't you? Do you?
Hmm?
Do you know that he's with you?
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe.
Not in that way.
Not in what way?
That I just said.
Okay.
Not that I know that. Don't think that he's that way.
Okay, but you know he's somewhere watching you, don't you? Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And you know that Piper is definitely around you, don't you? Yeah. Piper's Reese's puppy, who he died 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've seen Piper, haven't you, a time or two? Yeah. Okay, so, all right. So,
I think I might even see her now.
No way.
Right there.
Really?
Lying down.
Do you know, I think you might be right. Can you see Piper?
And then
Has she
Nina.
come for the
I
show?
think
And
Nina
Nino as well?
Brother.
Oh, right.
And Nina.
All the puppies are coming. What can we say? Wow.
Now all the puppies are coming.
Yes, I know.
Maybe.
Okay. So, are you done? Do you want to go play? Do you want to go swim? Are you okay here? Okay. All right, carry on, Chris.
All right. Andrew says, you could say Easter was about the coming of a new chapter. After losing my wife, I sort of feel directionless. I've tried looking inside myself for answers and praying for guidance and wisdom. Blank. Or is it too early? 6 months now that my wife died.
Oh, Andrew, give yourself time. It's tough when you lose someone, and especially someone who you've lived with for a long time or you're close to for a long time. You've got to give yourself time. You will know which direction to go. At the moment, it's enough that you actually get out of bed every morning and you get on with your day. I mean, that in itself, I think, is a miracle for so many of us who lose someone. It's tough. It's very, very tough. Don't be hard on yourself, darling, and just be very patient. Okay, Chris.
Dean is on saying hello from Wisconsin.
Cranberry powder.
What?
Just saying. Dean, we're sending you a link for cranberry powder. That's all I'm saying. Chris will explain it to you later. Does he have a question or anything he wants to say, Chris?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right. Cranberry powder. Don't go searching. Samantha has it and we'll send you the link. Okay. Carry on, Chris.
Chloe's saying hi from England.
Sorry?
Chloe saying hi from England.
Hi, darling. Hi. Do you remember Chloe? When we went to England?
A little bit.
Yeah. Kay's daughters? Yes. Yes. Okay. Hi, Chloe.
Wanda says we make peanut butter banana dog treats every week for our dogs. My grandkids always want to eat them because they smell so good.
Well, can we send us the recipe? Peanut butter and banana. Well, we were going to make peanut butter, and we might still make some peanut butter, might we? Yeah? Peanut butter? Yes? No? No, maybe not. Do you not want to make any more dog treats? Okay, all right. But send me the recipe anyway, because we can make them for Christmas treats, and we can make them for, well, all kinds of things, all kinds of treats. Okay, Chris.
Gabriella says, I'm at work now. I'm not happy here. I would like to know if Grey Eagle or someone of mine from the spirit world can suggest to me how I can come out soon. Thanks a lot.
Who is this?
This is Gabriella.
Okay, Gabriella, life is too short to be miserable. So what you have to do is you have to make big efforts. You have to search and look and keep trying and trying, because you know, this is how we make things happen. Things are not just presented to us. I hear so many people who say to me, you know, when am I going to meet that person? When am I going to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Or when am I ever going to be happy? And my answer is the same. When you get off of your butt and you start and you go out there and you start looking, life does not come to you. You have to go out. I know, Gabriella, I know you think I'm sounding very harsh, but little tough love never hurt, did it? So you've got to get out there, you've got to start looking, you've got to start searching. Life is far too short to be miserable, and there are so many people who spend a lifetime doing things that they really hate doing, working. I know we all have to work, and I know we all have to pay the bills, but if you can't find anything else and this is it and you're stuck in it, then please, you need to change your attitude and look to make the best of it and to find out what is good about it. If you can't do that, you know, I have a friend, a friend of a friend. This guy is a friend of a friend who continually, every time I see him, he moans and complains about his life. And believe you me, he's got a lot to moan and complain about. Nobody's arguing about that. But when I've suggested to him, well, do this or try that, he doesn't actually need to be in this miserable position. He just doesn't want to do anything about it. So the last time I spoke to him, I said, I'm done listening. If you're not going to do something about it, then make the best of what you have and stop moaning and complaining. And at least stop moaning and complaining to me. I don't care who else you do it to, but I'm not listening anymore. You do something about it, or you put up with what you've chosen to do, which is nothing in his case. You put up with what you've chosen to do and you make the best of it. Life is, again, I shall repeat it. We all know this. You know, our bodies are so fragile. You know, we can break an arm, we can break a leg, we can break a neck like that easily, if we're not paying attention. Life is too short to be miserable. Chris.
Did you want to go back to Mary's question about the daughter that was getting married?
No, in a few minutes.
Okay. All right, then. Next, we're going to hear from Betta. Betta says, my husband on May 5th will have to face a trial. Let's see. Will he get over it? Will his lawyer win the trial?
I don't think that the result will be 100% good, but I think it'll be much better than you anticipate. That's as much as I can tell you, Better. Keep going, Chris. You all right, babes? You got sneezes?
Andrew would like to know, what week are we on Angels in Training?
Oh, Andrew, good question. Chris?
I don't have my book in front of me to tell you, Andrew, but I've seen on our Facebook page, we put a dedicated chat in there that anybody who wanted to talk about the different weeks could have conversations with everybody. And that's slacked off a bit. So I would suggest whatever week you decide you're starting on, let's get that going again.
Well, hold on a minute. You know what we'll do, Andrew? We'll see if we can figure out the next time we're on, maybe next Thursday, because what we were starting to do was to talk about the exercise that we had for the month, and I think, or the week, sorry, for the week. And I think we've slacked off, Chris, and because we have, then other people do as well. I think people need encouragement to do these things, and we haven't given you encouragement, I'm afraid to say. So that's our bad. So we'll try next week, and we'll take a look next week, and we'll talk about the previous 2 or 3 weeks and see, you know, how hard they are or how easy they are. And if you did them, if you did if you're doing Angels in Training, get ready and have your story or your comments ready for us when we do that. Okay. We might even do it in an off the cuff. It won't be this week because we're busy, I'm afraid. I'm busy with my darling boy. Yes, I am. All right.
Suzanne says, during Easter time, I was aware of a very loving energy flowing through my body. Very thankful for that feeling. What else is possible?
Oh, golly. Anything is possible. Just keep paying attention. Do you need to go? Because you can go if you want. If you're bored, or if you need to blow your nose, or if you want to go and swim, or whatever it is you want to do, don't kick that thing. Do you want to go? Off you go. Go and say bye-bye to everybody. Then. Say see
Bye,
you later.
Reese. See you later.
Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go. Say bye-bye.
Bye, Apache.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We'll take him off then. Watch the lead. There. Good job. Good boy. All right. Okay.
Jillian's saying hello to all, and a quick question for Rosemary. What does the color orange represent? I remember the rest, but for some reason I've forgotten orange.
Oh, sorry about this. I've lost my camera for some reason or another. Hold on, everybody. It's just me. Hold on. What have I done? Sorry. No, that's not right, is it, Chris? No.
Just a teeny bit higher. There you go.
Well, it's all very well saying that, but this is on a wobbly stand. Am I centered there, Chris? Better?
Yes.
Is that better? Okay. Well, oranges, reds, very vibrant, lots of vibrant energy. So just when you use that energy, use it carefully, use it gently. Don't use too much of it.
All right.
So can we come back to Mary?
Yes.
Could you give me the question again?
Let's see. That was up near the top.
Sorry, I'm making you scroll, aren't I?
Mary says, today, my deceased brother's only daughter is getting married. Are there
Yes.
any messages from him to her today, especially?
Okay, so I have Grail with his hand on my shoulder. So he will be walking by her side down the aisle because it's his place, I'm told. I'm seeing a smiling guy standing in front of me as I'm doing this. I'm trying to listen carefully to what he has to say. He's extremely emotional. It is an emotional day. She apparently looks beautiful. And the message is be happy. He knows she can be happy. The message is be happy. Okay, Chris.
All right. On our Facebook page, we were talking about a message or a sentiment or a thought that you would paint on a rock. Remember, when you go to different parks and you have those like kindness rocks? Maggie's asking about what you would write on this rock.
I would write, it comes straight into my head, Maggie, as you've asked me, as Gregor will tell us, our world needs gentleness. So on my rock, I would put, our world needs gentleness. And honestly, I think that's all we need to say, because that tells everybody. Because when you start to think about gentleness, you also start to think about kindness and loving and being sweet and being caring and being thoughtful. When Gregor tells us your world needs gentleness, he's so right, because being gentle embodies everything. You cannot be gentle if you're not loving. You cannot be gentle if you're not kind. Even if you're not kind all of the time, in those moments of gentleness, you cannot be gentle unless you are also being kind, loving, caring, nurturing, all of those things. And if there were more gentleness in our world, well, wouldn't we all benefit from that? So if I had to, write on a stone or a rock, or if I just carried that message within my heart, it would be our world needs gentleness.
Mary says, thank you so much. That gave her goosebumps.
Well, listen, my darling, when I finished giving you that message, it occurred to me that I had personally forgotten to wish this beautiful, beautiful, darling girl on her wedding day all of the joy and all of the happiness that she would wish for herself, which I hope is a lot. So we, all of us here, send our love and our wishes for a beautiful day for her and a beautiful life.
ML says, I'm writing a book. Will it be successful?
Well, number one, will you finish the book? Number two, will you publish it? Number three, most important, will you promote it? So what will you do? See, we're throwing it right back at you. What will you do to ensure that it is successful? Because writing a book is, well, it's the easy part, really. Publishing is the easy part. You can self-publish. You can go to a small publisher, get it published. Some of the small publishers are brilliant. But it's the promoting, because if you're going to write a book and you're asking, will it be successful? I think just in the finishing of the book is a success in itself. So I think you're asking, will the book be known by others? And if that's what you want, you have to promote it. And in order to do that, you have to do a lot of hard work, not necessarily spend a lot of money, but do a lot of hard work. So that's down to you. So I'm throwing it right back at you. Will you work at it becoming successful? Over to you, Chris.
So, Rosemary, aren't you in the middle of writing a new book?
Yes, I am. I'm editing more than writing, because I actually, how can I put this? I actually haven't written this book. I've written small parts in the book, but the book is Grey Eagle's teachings, Grey Eagle's words, Grey Eagle's expressions, Grey Eagle's answers to all of the questions that we have so many of about life, about life, about death, about dying, about how as human beings we need to treat each other and behave towards each other. There are a trillion questions going on in this book that we put to Grey Eagle, and over the years, because this has been a work in progress over the years, so many different people have come with questions, and we've sat, so many of us have sat with Grey Eagle as he's answered our questions for us. And so we have a diversity of questions. It's not just one person asking the questions. It's not just me asking the questions. It's a diverse number of people who are asking the questions, and Grey Eagle is, if he feels so inclined, will answer those questions. And such a great book, teaches us such a lot. Chris, I allowed you, should I say, a little glimpse the other day. How are you doing with that?
I think about future generations who are still going to benefit from Grey Eagle's words. This is going to be a keeper.
Yeah, it's almost like a Bible to me. It's so filled with love, wisdom, information, and some tough love going on in there as well. It's not all sweetness and light, and Grey Eagle puts things in terms that we can understand. So it's not, sort of kind of a feet on the ground kind of. How would you say it? It's like a reading. I won't say a Bible, but it's like reading passages of wisdom and information that help us through our lives, but also remind us again and again and again that we are souls having this human experience. And so when we ask Gregor what happens, for instance, when we die, he's able to tell us and explain to us all of the different things that we can possibly do. When we ask him about the different things that are going on in the world, he again will answer in ways that have so much wisdom. So they hold so much wisdom, and I feel reading them, they give us so much peace, and they remind us so much of how, you know, those in the spirit world, let's say, we all know that God, or that God force, or that universal God force that is around, we all know what it can do, but how much more it can do if we apply the right action, right thinking, right attitude is amazing.
Rhonda says, I listened to the CD conversation with Bob this week. It was such a great CD for anyone terminally ill.
Yes. Or not just anyone terminally ill, but for families, for friends of someone who is going through that situation. It gives so much peace. It gives so much comfort. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about, now you brought that up, it's one of my favorite topics, because Bob was a patient of mine for a little while, and he came to me knowing that he was going to die. He came to me reluctantly because he didn't believe in any of this stuff, as he put it. And he came to one of our healing sessions in Vermont. And I think he was very surprised to find out that, first of all, I didn't have two heads. Second of all, I talked common sense. And third of all, I didn't sort of muck around, so to speak, as we English say. I call a spade a spade. I like to tell things as they are. So I think he was surprised, and I might say pleasantly surprised, and also a little confused, because his idea of what we were doing there was so not what we were doing there. So he became a big fan, and he came on a regular weekly basis to the healing center. And then, of course, after a while, my team and I would go to his home and give him regular healing. We all got to know him really well. You remember Chris, we all got to know him so well. And he had such a great attitude, having he and his wife invited me for dinner, uh, and not long after I knew him, and at that dinner I think I blew him away, or should I say, more to the point, his grandfather blew him away by telling him all sorts of things that of course I couldn't possibly know. And you gather now that his grandfather had passed to the spirit world. So Bob and I became really good, very close, very quickly, as people do when they are suffering, or if they are, they know that they're terminal, they know that life is short, so let's make the most of what we've got here. And he was amazing, and they as he got a little worse, they would leave the door open for me, because sometimes I would sometimes if I was busy during the day, or if I was traveling or something, I wouldn't be able to see him until maybe, I don't know, midnight, sometimes 2 in the morning, sometimes even 3 in the morning. And I would just let myself into the house, and he was sleeping downstairs at this point by himself. And his wife wouldn't even know if I'd come in. She was upstairs in bed asleep. And so Bob and I would have, how many sessions? Lots and lots of sessions we would have, sort of in the middle of the night very often. And we had such a great time. So because we got to know each other really, really well, one day I said to him, would you come with me and record something? Because I think an awful lot of people would be helped by your attitude, by the things that you say, because you know what, you're going through this. And even as we made the recording, Bob was suffering with a massive brain tumor, which was inoperable. He'd already had a couple of surgeries before, but this was inoperable. So he knew and had accepted that he was, you know, that he only had a very short time left. And so he thought that was a fantastic idea to record something. He didn't quite know what he was letting himself in for. So I picked him up and we're driving towards the recording studio. And he said to me, "Oh, you didn't give me my script." And I looked at him. I said, "What script?" He said, "Well, I need a script if I'm going to be doing something, recording something? Don't I need a script?" And I started laughing. And I said, "We never have scripts. We don't use scripts. We just go with the flow, and what is meant to happen is meant to happen." So we got into the studio, and as we got in, and this was not the first time I was in this studio. Lovely young man was in the recording studio, fascinated, but sort of very new to my subject. But we'd worked together before 2 or 3 times. So the only thing that we needed to know when we sat down was how long of a recording time, because if you're recording, you know, they start, but then at some point there's a stopping point, and you can't always judge what the stopping point is. So very often, if you go over time, if you go over the recording time, you then have to go back into the studio to edit, to cut bits out, so that it makes it fit. So it makes your recording fit into the time slot. So I'm very used to doing this. So I just when the guy said to me, "Okay, what time slot are we looking at?" I said, "Well, you tell me." So he gave me a time. I said, "Okay, we'll make it work then." No surprise to me at the end of this session when and Bob was brilliant, by the way, but no surprise to me that the session went really well. I had a few questions, that off the cuff questions. See, don't we like off the cuff, Chris? Off the cuff questions that I would ask Bob about his illness, about the process of dying, about what he wanted to do, what he wanted to say to the people who he was leaving behind, how he could help them by leaving little notes in the basement, what to do when this goes wrong, what to do when that goes wrong. He thought of all of those things for his wife, to help his wife through the transition, dealing with this after Bob had left. And so we sat down and we just talked. I asked him questions and he answered in the best way he could. It is my daughter will tell you, I remember the first time she heard it, we were driving to New York, and I said to her, "I have to listen to this because I have to say whether it's a go, whether I want to change anything or need to change anything." So she usually hates to hear me. She hates to hear my voice. It's sort of because she says it just doesn't sound like you, Mum. I don't know why she says that, but she does. But we listened, the two of us, and at the end of it, she said, "Wow, Mum, that sounded like the best NPR interview. It was amazing." She said it was amazing. So, but the thing that made me smile about this, aside from Bob doing the most wonderful and amazing job in talking about the process of dying as he is dying. The guy called up from the studio about 2 or 3 days later. He said to me, "Rosemary," he said, "I don't know what you want to do." He said, because he said, "I don't know how it happened, but the recording stops at exactly the right time. There's a like a 30-second, half a minute left of the recording space. It somehow or another, it fit exactly in there." And I smiled and I said, "Well, Grey Eagle has his ways of doing things. So if we follow him and we follow his ways, then that's what we did. So the CD is amazing, but it is totally unedited. This is when you listen to it, and I'm so glad I've forgotten who it was who said they listened to it. When you listen to it, that's how we start and that's how we end, and we didn't touch a thing in between. So it's just a beautiful and a fabulous recording from my lovely, lovely Bob. All right, Chris.
Well, that was Rhonda who had asked. Barbara says, hello to you. My mom was very close to her grandmother, who helped raise her. In fact, I'm named after her,
All right.
but I never knew her. Is her spirit ever around me, or are we too far removed from each other? Is she with my mom now on the other side?
Yes, she's around you. You are not too far removed from her. You should read the. Excuse me, 1 second. You should read The Eagle and the Rose. Hello, darling. Hello. You should read The Eagle and the Rose. In The Eagle and the Rose, there is a story, and it's called Martha. And Martha is the great grandmother. Sorry, I've got a wriggly dog. Hold on, there we are. Martha is the great grandmother of the young man who came to see me. And boy, did she have a lot to say. And this young man who was my client was so disappointed because he didn't, even though everything that Martha said was accurate, he had no clue who Martha was. He'd never heard of Martha. He didn't know anything at all about her. So please get The Eagle and the Rose. Read Martha. Read the story of Martha. The Eagle and the Rose, it is our 25th anniversary of the year that The Eagle and the Rose was published. And so many people love that book. And of course, it's my very first. So it's obviously a favorite of mine. But I'm sure she's around you. But be inspired. Read the story of Martha and you'll love it. Chris.
So, Rosemary, of your books, Proud Spirit, You
Oh,
Own the
yes.
Power, Matter of Life and Death, Walking in the Clouds, etc., was there
Samantha,
any
take the dog.
was there any book that you found to be extremely fun? Was there any book that you found gave you great lessons or things to think about?
Well, every book that I've ever written, I mean, I think The Eagle and the Rose was meant to be other people's stories. It was meant to be about other people. I never ever dreamt that I would, you know, reveal anything at all about myself because I find other people's stories so much more fascinating than mine. So that's how I wrote it initially. It was a book of other people's stories, as seen through my eyes, of course, but still other people's stories of their connections with the spirit world. And but my lovely, lovely editor, Joanne Davis, who was brilliant and absolutely the best, the most brilliant editor I've ever met, ever. Um, she had different ideas because, well, all these stories are all very well and good, but what about your story? So I wrote a little bit about me and about my family, and then I gave the book to my sister, who read through it. Then she brought it back, she threw it at me, she said, here, if you can't write the truth, don't write anything at all. And I knew exactly what she meant because what I'd done in writing my story was, I'd sort of skipped over the bad bits and made it sort of, I just skipped through it. I hadn't put anything in depth about me or my life at all. So I knew I had to do something about it. That's all I'm saying about that book. So, because I don't want to give anything away. Um, Proud Spirit was brilliant because I got to go to Apache country. I got to, in fact, if you see the photo on the front of Proud Spirit, that photo is taken in the Superstition Mountains where Grey Eagle lived, where his tribe, where the Apaches lived, where they hid out from the soldiers. And so it was a lot of fun because we could do a lot of exploring when we were there. and we met a phenomenal, fantastic guy while we were there also. So anyway, so every book has its own magic about it, and because I'm writing literally other people's stories, and my own threaded through, but because I'm writing other people's stories, I find my subject fascinating. A matter of life and death. I mean, I lived through that. Some of you, I remember a lady writing to me saying, this was an awful book because your books have always been nice and happy and inspiring, but there is a story. Just give you a heads up on this. There is a story in A Matter of Life and Death, which is not a nice story. It's a bit of a gruesome story, but it's a true story, and it's, you know, and what am I going to do? Just tell you nice things? Because that's not life, is it? It's not what life is about. So even though I know that some of you might not like that story, I don't regret writing it because it's a true story. And I think we need to know these things. And I think we need to know that, you know, evil exists. Of course it does. We all know that, don't we? Let's not pretend that we don't know that evil exists. But it also shows that we can deal with it. And it also shows that, you know, always, always, always the light blocks out the dark. In fact, where there's light, there is no darkness. So that's that story. So, gosh, but the book that I'm working on at the moment, which is Grey Eagle Speaks, well, that's in a league of its own because I can't claim to have written that. I can only claim to have listened very carefully and then written down, and then I have to edit it and go over it with Grey Eagle again and again to make sure that it's not my words, it's they're his words on the page, and that's really exciting. That's all I've got to say about all of the books that I've ever written. I'm just thinking A Walk in the Clouds is another lovely one. I love that one. It's just such a wonderful book, you know, true story. I wrote it initially for the Italian market, but now it's available anywhere. And so, you know, so yeah, well, I think all of my books are special to me because the stories in the books are special to me. Other people's stories are special to me.
All right. Well, Barbara, we're going to end with Barbara here. She says, I have the book. I just read about Martha. I have wonderful shivers right now. I think she may be here listening. Thank you for your guidance.
Oh, Barbara, you are very, very welcome. All right, everyone, I think time is up. So thank you, all of you for joining us. It's as usual, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you for being so nice to my grandson, Reese. And again, if you want to take a look at his YouTube, just find Reese, RHYS, and Apache, APACHE. Reach and Apache's Adventures. There is, I think there's only one video at the moment, but I know he's going to put more on there. So yeah, he's a little star in his all by himself. He's beautiful. So okay, Easter's done with. This coming Saturday we will have a story time, but it might be short. So just saying, because Saturday is my last day with my daughter and my grandson. They are leaving on Sunday. So we will do story time, and then you never know, we might do an off the cuff on Sunday. You never know, because I'll need something to do to get over not having my babies here. Of course, 3 of them. The puppy is mooting around. Nobody's watching him. Today he is, what is he, 19 weeks old today. So thank you, all of you. You've been absolutely phenomenal. You've been great. And until I see you all again, I'd like to say thanks to Chris, thanks to Grey Eagle, thanks to all of you. Until I see you all again, please, please, please have a very, very blessed rest of the day, everybody. Until I see you again, bye-bye.